I'm Ron Paul, and I approve this message.
You are now listening to the Ron Paul Radio Network at ronpaulradio.com.
What's going on, y'all? You're back. I'm your host, Paco, and you're listening to Occupy the Media. Now, we were just talking about the delicate race. Ron Paul is doing well in Colorado, Minnesota. We got people going to the RNC. We're also doing good in Washington. You know, unfortunately, we don't have the media on our side. Most people don't know it, but the Ron Paul revolution is on its way. We are taking over the GOP on the low. Also, some more news. Ron Paul endorses Massey in the 4th District race. This is at lex18.com. Republican presidential candidate Ron Paul has endorsed Tea Party congressional hopeful Thomas Massey in Kentucky's crowded 4th District primary race. Paul, the father of Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, said in a statement that Massey deserves your support right now. Massey faces state Representative Alicia Webb, Boone County Judge Executive Gary Moore, Crestwood teacher Brian Arthur, Fort Mitchell business consultant Tom Wirtz, lawyer Mark Carey, and Crestwood building contractor Walter Christian Schoen. Now, we got to support all these candidates that are coming out with the Ron Paul message, with the Ron Paul liberty message, you know, in the Fed, in the wars. So hopefully we can try to get Massey on the show. We've had some others, Jenny Warman, Christopher David, Jason Green, Rick Williams. So you guys check them out running for office. Now, I want to jump into Afghanistan real quickly. There was something on MSNBC. What is it? Dylan Radigan, I think his name is. So he's on MSNBC talking to two Democrat specialists or whatever they call them. So there's two of them on, and they're talking about Afghanistan. He kind of flips out. It's like, you know, why are we in Afghanistan? Neither one of them get an answer. And he's like, I'm on TV every day, and I can't get one politician, one person to come on TV and tell me why we're still in Afghanistan. And the answer is we shouldn't be there. That's plain and simple. And I don't know Dylan's intentions, you know, if he really, really means that. I don't trust people in the media. I hope and I like to think that he is on our side. But nonetheless, we don't need to be in Afghanistan. We should have been left. Bin Laden is dead now. He's been dead. So why are we still there? But no politician is going to answer that because they don't want to tell you the real answer, you know, because of the drug trade, because of the money that we get from printing all these dollars for these wars. So they don't want to say that. They don't want to come out and talk about that. So let's talk about Ann Romney and the Democrat strategists about mothers. And so let's talk about contraception. Let's talk about stuff that ain't important just to get people riled up and divide people. Okay, so I want to play the clip real quickly here, and let's see. Should be able to get the clip in before the next break. So I'm going to go and play this. This is MSNBC Dylan Radigan.
Stunning new numbers from the front lines of America's two longest wars and from back here at home. The Pentagon now reporting that a record number of concussions for troops in the war zone, on average 16 a day last spring. Those figures attributed in part to improved battlefield diagnosis, much as the extraordinary number of de-limbed but living veterans has exploded because battlefield medicine has gotten so good. While those numbers rise, support for the war in Afghanistan continues to plummet. Now, 7 out of 10 Americans say it is time to get out. Let's turn to the Thursday mega panel. Karen, Susan, and Jimmy. Susan, I will begin with you. The president has already, listen, we're withdrawing. 2014, this has already been said. The only thing that seems to be a point of confusion, dispute, whatever you want to call it, is there appears to be a decision to stay for the summer of 2012 and fight. That decision is confusing for a lot of people, myself included. And I can't understand why everybody wants to withdraw. There's all this ambiance that speaks to withdrawal, rafts of data. rafts of information, bribes, corruption, heroin dealers. You pick it. You want to dig into this thing, it's a nightmare. But no one can answer the question, why strategically are we going to fight one more summer?
Well, since I'm not a military expert, I can't answer that question for you.
Have you met anybody that can answer that question?
But what I can tell you is...
Have you met anybody that can answer that question?
No, I have not.
I want to stick with this. Have either of you, Karen, Susan, met or Karen, Jimmy, have met anybody who can explain the strategic rationale for maintaining military engagement on an offensive structure for 6 more months and then withdrawing, which seems to be the plan, Jimmy?
No.
Karen?
No, but I think what they would say, and I'm not saying I agree with this.
No, I understand. I get it. We're not going to hold you accountable for what you say here.
I think some would say, thank you. I think some would say that, right, exactly. Yeah. I think some would say that they believe there are still strategic objectives that can be accomplished. Now, whether or not.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and call it BS on that. Of course, there's no reason. You know, these strategists that get on TV are way too soft. Just tell it how it is. There is no reason we need to be there. People need to be upset. And this is MSNBC. They don't say too much about Obama. You know, they love Obama on MSNBC. But, yeah, that's what we need to talk about. Why does Obama have our troops still there? And here's what people need to understand. When you send troops overseas and you take away other people's freedoms, that's what's going to start happening at home. And that's what's happening to us now. We're turning to a police state. You know, we got secret prisons going on. We got, you know, all types of things, spying, drones, all types of things going on, and they're all being turned on us. For example, in L.A., this is an example. We got wars going on. This is what's going to happen at home. People being tortured in L.A., downtown in L.A. County Jail, and people that's not even in jail. They're just going to visit. Let's play that real quick so you can understand what's going to happen to us if we keep going like this. Okay, we got a little ad playing real quick. As soon as that finishes, I'm gonna roll that up and play that for you. But yeah, we got to get out of Afghanistan and in these wars. And they say we're done with Iraq, but I think we still got contractors out there. These wars are not finished. But what are we gonna do? We got to get Ron Paul president. Here goes the clip right here.
Los Angeles County Sheriff Lee Baca said this week he may close at least part of the L.A. County Men's Central Jail, the country's largest jail, in the face of allegations of abuse. Ben Tracy has the details, and we caution you, some of the images may be difficult to watch.
I'm gasping for air, telling him to stop, I can't breathe.
Gabriel Carrillo was not an inmate. He was visiting his brother at the Los Angeles Men's Central Jail. Even so, he says deputies took him into an interrogation room because he had a cell phone, a violation of visitor rules. He alleges deputies handcuffed him and beat him.
I was in tremendous pain. I blacked out to a point where I was awoken to more punches to my head, where my head's bouncing off the floor.
He looked so bad, even his girlfriend did not recognize him.
They passed right in front of me, didn't even stop.
Carrillo's attorney, Ron Kay, has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit.
There is no jail in the United States that has this pattern of misconduct, of abuse, and of essentially sadism that the LA County Jail has.
Many of those accusing the deputies of assaulting them are not convicted felons. They're here waiting for a court date, unable to post bail. The FBI is investigating, and the ACLU has filed a lawsuit accusing the sheriff of ignoring inmate abuse. The 72 sworn statements in the ACLU's lawsuit paint a grim picture. Deputies slamming inmates' heads against the wall, dislocating an inmate's shoulder, and pressing a key into an inmate's arms, leaving puncture wounds. Photos gathered by the ACLU show gashes on inmates' foreheads, broken teeth, and bruising.
It's huge. It's a huge problem. We get lots and lots of letters and phone calls from inmates themselves and also from family members.
Esther Lim is jail monitor for the ACLU and says she witnessed one of the beatings. While conducting a jail interview, she says she looked out the window and saw two deputies punching a non-responsive inmate.
And later they take out their taser and they tase this guy who's again, not fighting, not moving. And he looks to me like he's unconscious.
At a press conference this week, LA County Sheriff Lee Baca disputed allegations that he's not properly handling the alleged abuse.
We are literally in a reformation of how we do business when it comes to the use of force.
He said he's even considering closing at least part of the jail. but not because he's being pressured.
We're not talking here about all of a sudden we've been put in a corner. We've always believed in forward thinking.
Okay, so as you can see, that's what we're headed to, a police state. Anyways, I'm Paco, your host. We'll be back. You're listening to Occupy the Media.